Pooh Shiesty's prison diary. What's really happening? Pooh Shiesty's reaction. Prosecutors found rapper Pooh Shiesty guilty of gun conspiracy. Is it true? Well, they have sentenced him to 5.5 years in jail for his crimes, obviously. In October 2020, a man was shot in the buttocks outside of a Florida hotel after an altercation, and the accusations came from that incident. There's a lot more left in this story, and if you want to find out all about it, well, you're in the right spot. So welcome back to Celebs in Jail, where we'll talk about the case details in this video. Before we get any further, though, please make sure you hit that bell icon and subscribe to our channel. Lontrell Williams, who was born in Memphis and is now 22 years old, was happy with the decision that was handed down by U.S. District Judge Kevin Michael Moore in Miami Federal Court, according to his attorney. Williams, who was born in Memphis, had previously reached a plea deal with federal prosecutors that allowed for a sentence of up to 8 years and 1 month in prison. Listen, going to jail is something that nobody wants to do, but he was glad the judge listened in our argument, and he thought the judge did a good job of understanding the point. According to the rapper's defense attorney, Bradford Cohen, who spoke to Rolling Stone after the verdict, he was satisfied with the outcome. We couldn't be more pleased with the outcome of the court's ruling. The judge awarded Williams with time off for the year that he had already served behind bars. Williams might be released from prison in approximately 3.5 years, less than if he had continued his excellent behavior. In January, Williams entered a guilty plea to just 1 count of conspiring to use or possess weapons. Cohen argued on behalf of his client during the sentencing hearing that took place on Wednesday and lasted for approximately 2 hours that his client was not the person who fired the weapon during the botched drug deal that took place outside the Landon Hotel in Bay Harbor Islands, Florida, on October 9, 2020. Additionally, he refuted the premise put forth by the prosecution that Williams was involved in a robbery. According to the documents he filed with the court, he said that his client was attempting to buy a small amount of liquid codeine for personal use from a person he knew. The government wants this court to think that Mr. Williams, who has a net worth of $3,449,446, plotted a robbery, then committed a robbery, and then shot a well-known drug dealer who was familiar with him and could easily identify him, all over a few $100 drug deal for personal use while he was driving a lime green McLaren that he rented from the accused victim, he stated in his filing. Mr. Williams was driving a vehicle with an estimated worth of over $200,000 and was found to have more than $40,000 in cash. It would be illogical for Mr. Williams to stage a robbery by 2 other individuals over something so insignificant as a bottle of liquid codeine with a retail value of a few $100s at most, when any damage done to the McLaren in the process would have cost thousands of dollars to repair, the paperwork argued. It would be illogical for Mr. Williams to stage a robbery by 2 other individuals over this. Cohen argued for a reduced sentence in a sentencing memo that was filed on Tuesday by noting his client's young age and tough childhood as reasons for the reduction. Mr. Williams has admitted guilt for the offense in which he was involved and taken responsibility for his actions. According to which Cohen wrote, he accepts responsibility for where he is at this time in his life, and he's ready to change. He wishes to get back to making music, abstain from drugs, maintain his current level of financial support for his family, and volunteer his time to work with the youngsters in his neighborhood. It is requested that this court takes into consideration that Mr. Williams' life should be preserved. Cohen stated in the memorandum that Williams' father spent a significant portion of his client's formative years behind bars. Mr. Williams recalls visiting his father in prison when he was approximately 10 years old, and he described the experience as scary, the man stated. Mr. Williams also saw his mother being physically abused by her long-term boyfriend, lost several friends to gun violence, and was shot twice himself as a teenager. The first time was during a drive-by shooting when he was 14 years old, and the second time was while he was attending a local police and community basketball game when he was 17. During the formative years of Mr. Williams' life, he was exposed to very few, if any, constructive influences. At the age of 12, he tried marijuana for the first time and became an addict almost immediately, Cohen wrote. Mr. Williams' transformation from life of abject destitution to that of a successful and affluent musician happened nearly overnight and was unquestionably transformative. Williams began establishing a name for himself almost immediately after he graduated from high school and started posting videos of himself rapping on Facebook and YouTube. When he was 20 years old, he inked his first recording contract with Gucci Mane. After a few months had passed, he went back to Atlantic Records and signed a new contract. Mr. Williams became a millionaire in what seemed like the blink of an eye. Cohen stated in his writing that at the time, he still was not old enough to be served alcohol. After his arrest on June 9th on accusations related to a shooting at a Miami strip club, which have since been dismissed, Williams has been incarcerated. However, the charges have been dropped. A few weeks later, he was indicted in connection with the Landon Hotel case and ordered imprisoned without bail. Prosecutors claim that the Memphis rapper, whose song Back in Blood was featured on Lil Durk's platinum-certified album, drove the leased McLaren to the hotel on the day of the alleged shooting to buy marijuana, codeine, and a pair of expensive athletic shoes. They claim that Williams accepted a bag of marijuana and looked at a pair of sneakers before pulling out a Draco subcompact firearm and firing at the accused victim, who was wounded in the buttocks by the bullet. While Williams was driving away in the McLaren, a Louis Vuitton bag that was loaded with $40,912 in cash fell out of the driver's seat of the vehicle. According to the investigators, they were able to link the cash to Williams by matching the full serial number on one of the seized bills to a $100 bill that was displayed on Williams' Instagram account days before the alleged crime. Pooh Shiesty is being accused of many offenses. Pooh Shiesty was taken into custody back in October 2020 and charged with shooting two guys, both of whom required medical treatment as a result of their injuries. The accusations leveled against Shiesty include aggravated assault with a firearm, armed robbery, and theft, among other offenses. When he turned himself in to authorities after arrest warrants had been issued for him and two other suspects, he was immediately sent to jail. The occurrence was found to have taken place in the parking lot of a condo located at 9700 East Bay Harbor Drive. According to the arrest report, one of the victims said that they had met the rapper at the scene to sell him a pair of Air Jordan 4 shoes. The first victim claims that they met the rapper to sell him marijuana and receive payment for a lime green McLaren that the first victim had taken on rent. The victim stated that he was conversing with Shiesty in his car when two males jumped out of another vehicle and walked toward them with pistols. The victim and Shiesty were the targets of the attack. The next thing that happened was that Shiesty requested him to step out of the car, and that's when the shot was fired into his back. According to the account of the second victim, he was walking towards his vehicle when he had heard two shots and immediately collapsed to the ground. When he turned around, he noticed that Pooh Shiesty, who was sitting in the driver's seat, was aiming a weapon at him. Both of the victims were transported to the hospital by one of the victims. Even though Shiesty departed the location, he forgot to take the cash bag with him. After looking through his Instagram profile, the authorities discovered photographs of him with the McLaren, the bag, and cash, one of which was a $100 bill. The serial number on the bill was identical to the one that was discovered in the bag. After Pooh Shiesty's appearance in bail court, the judge decided to set the amount at $30,000. According to the statements made by the police, two further suspects managed to flee the scene. Well, I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. We sincerely hope you enjoyed it. Did you know anything about this case? Or is there any information that you do know about that you didn't hear? Well, feel free to let us know in the comment space below. We always love hearing from you. And do you have any suggestions or feedback for us? Or maybe some future cases you'd like us to take a look at? If you have any other questions or comments, as always, leave them down below. We always love to hear from you, our viewers, and we wouldn't be here without you. Make sure you press that notification bell on your way out the door, too. That way you are always notified and updated when we have new videos for you. We are always updating and uploading new material on the reg. Hey, thank you so much for spending time with us today, and we'll look forward to seeing you in our next video. And don't forget to check out our other YouTube channels. We have lots of good stuff for you to see. Hey, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching.